iShowSpeed has been a sort of like a still relatively recent phenomena. This, I think, 20-year-old guy who became really popular for different things, but now he mainly does what is called sort of like IRL stuff, meaning going to different countries, live streaming himself, sort of just walking around, engaging with different people. But the reason why we cover him today is some people might be surprised, is the sort of what I would call an actually useful idiocy to Hamas. He has been more and more sort of doing different events when he sort of yells "Free Palestine." I mean, we'll watch the stuff and sort of you could just say this is simply, a young guy not knowing anything and being crazy. But the fact is, even this is giving credence to Hamas because pro-Hamas people are using it as somebody who's, I think his YouTube channel has tens of millions of subscribers. So they are using his popularity to basically target Israel and to support so-called Palestine. Welcome to the Daily Objective. Joining me today is Jonathan Honig, and I'll go to Jonathan in a second. But let's watch the first clip we have, which is the most recent thing because he did another donation. And let me just pull it up.
Yo, I just got this message from Chunks, bro. This is honestly insane for the stuff that's going around in Palestine, man. Seriously, prayers to y'all, and I'll be donating to y'all. This is making me sick to my stomach, bro. From the bottom of my heart, bro. If you're from Palestine, this is crazy. I love y'all boys. I will be donating to y'all, okay? I love every single one of y'all. And free Palestine, bro. Seriously.
Oh, Jonathan, before the show, you told me you actually did know about this person before. So, yeah, any opening thoughts from you? And on this specifically, he did another donation, 50,000 to Palestine Relief Fund, which it should be, of course, mentioned that any donation that is going into Gaza is helping Hamas either directly or indirectly. But
Yeah, he continually refers to it as Palestine, which is a pronunciation that I have not heard much of. But Daniel, this is really just one of these new age. He is one of these new age provocateurs who has made it for a name for himself, going into places and being disruptive and being outrageous, not being particularly thoughtful or original, but just kind of being a loudmouth, if you will. But he is an influencer. And as you said, he's got millions and millions of watchers, and he helps set, along with Candace and others, the cultural trends. And from the little I've seen, he's decidedly anti-Israel, pro-Palestine, aka pro-Hamas. And that, I think, amongst young people, thanks to people like iShowSpeed and Greta, that is what's as seen as being the moral side to be on. If you're on Israel's side, you're a conqueror, you're an imperialist, you're a Westernist, you're against the environment, you're against the common man. Oh, but hey, the real brothers, what does he keep saying? Oh, yeah, brother. Oh, yeah, bro. If you're really a brother, if you're really a tribesman, if you will, well, you're on the side of Hamas and the Palestinians. And that's the cultural, rot we're up against.
yeah, I mean, you mentioned sort of his pronunciation of Palestine, which I'm wondering because he always pronounces it like that, and I'm wondering where it is coming from because I believe in Arabic they do not have the P, so the way you pronounce it in Arabic is I think Philistine or Philistine, like it's not Ayn. So maybe he's combining the two of those, but again, even that would be claiming to him a certain amount of knowledge that maybe is not appropriate. But let's watch one more clip that I think this one definitely went viral, and it's pretty short.
Bye bye, Israel! Bye bye!
So again, another kind of like ignorant for people on the
Frightening.
Yeah, well, on some level, definitely. It's basically it's some kind of game where you basically bomb anything you want. And for people on the podcast, he basically like just showed Middle East and said bye bye Israel. Although I'm not sure if he actually did hit Israel, because like Israel is right to the side of the Mediterranean Sea, and he was like basically hitting Iraq almost. So yeah, there is this amount of like. Some people might say, well, he's just ignorant kid. He doesn't know any better. He's just, he's just doing the trend, right? It's trendy to hate on Israel. It's trendy to sort of be pro-Palestinian, and this is what he's doing. But that is not an excuse. If you are supporting a terrorist regime, it doesn't matter if you're doing it from ignorance or you actually know what is happening. Because, as I've said, and we'll go into it, because people will use this. And people are listening, right? He has like hundreds of thousands of either kids or, well, mostly kids, of listening to him, listening him hate on Israel, listening to him hate on Israelis themselves. And yeah, he's basically getting away with it, right? There is no punishment being done, which I think, I'm not for government censorship or anything, but there should be adults in the room. You shouldn't allow, if this guy was doing something that is a bit less accepting, right? If he was praising ISIS on his show or something, people would step up, like the companies would kick him off, people would speak out. But because it's this sort of more accepting thing, the Palestinians, it seemed more okay.
Well, I remember Dr. Peikoff on one of his podcasts made the comment that, and I'm paraphrasing, the ecology movement was what the hippies picked up after the Vietnam War ended as their cause. And it seems like from Greta to iShowSpeed and so many others now, the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, started and initiated by the Palestinians, has become their cause now. And it's, it's about hating on Israel and free Palestine with complete ignorance as to any of the history, let alone actual situation or even location of the area. But it's become the kind of, I think, cause celeb among Gen Z and millennials and young people who truly believe, thanks to influencers like iShowSpeed, that Israel is evil, Israel's wrong. And, the poor Palestinians, the ones hiding those Israeli hostages in their basement right now, they're the ones that really deserve our moral respect.
Yeah, and this is where the sort of somebody in the chat says, I remember when most ignorant people pretty much kept their mouths shut. Social media did away with that, because yeah, on some level there is nothing you can say to him, right? If somebody is reasonable, if somebody arrived to their conclusion by reason, you can talk to them and you can talk them out of it. But what would happen if you told this guy that, do you know that Palestinians are holding the hostages? Do you know that Hamas is committed and Palestinians have joined on October 7th? That he would most likely just yell at you, right? There would be no engagement with that actual rhetoric, because we've seen that. I mean, this guy. Maybe we can watch another video, but yeah, this guy is not engaging with actually what's happening. He simply has some phrases or has certain emotions, right? I mean, we watched that first video, right? It's horrible what's happening, but those are just pictures. You need some ideas to understand what is really going on. You need some context to understand why this is happening and to have the right solution.
And the popularity of this is so bewildering to me. I mean, I know kind of entertainment is different right now, but like the fact that people find him kind of mindlessly wandering around places for hours and hours and hours, streams that are 2, 3, 4 hours long, and people watch that. I find it completely bewildering. In contrast, I think about the focus that Dr. Peikoff or Miss Rand put in their work, how every word was considered, every line was edited over and over again, and how there's an efficacy of communication, how they can make a point, a very important, thoughtful point, very cleanly, very studiously, very correctly, very accurately, as against iShowSpeed and these other lunatics who just kind of roll around town, emoting and interacting with everything, and just kind of blathering on. Whether it's true or not doesn't matter. Whether I'm educated or not doesn't matter. And the more outrageous they are, of course, the more clicks and more rewarded they get as a result.
Somebody earlier was asking what's his name, so it's iShowSpeed. I think he usually goes by Speed. I think his real name is Darren or something. Yeah, Darren, if that is true. So, but yeah, usually with these kind of streamers, they go by their handle. Should we watch one more video?
Sure.
So this one is a bit longer. This is for people who do not know. I think this was recorded on Omegle. Omegle is this website where basically you connect to and you call with random people. And when you are done calling, you simply like skip next, and it gives you another person. And there's a lot of his recordings where he talked to Israeli, mostly just Israeli kids. So let's listen to a little. I'll leave the full compilation in the chat. I just cut out a few parts. I left out all the ones that he didn't have shirt on because I don't think we need to watch that.
Oh my God! I'm from Israel. Hi, Israel. Hi.
Israel?
Yes.
Free to Palestine?
No.
Okay, you know what?
No! No!
No.
No!
No. Story, no.
What do you mean, no?
We don't want to buy beach.
No.
But what, bitch? What? Don't play with me!
Not a bitch, he's my love. I love him.
Sorry, I'm very sorry.
You're from Israel.
You're from Israel?
Yes.
You already know what I'm about to say, right?
I love Israel. You love Israel?
No. You already know what I'm about to say, right?
Huh? What the fuck?
Free Palestine! From Israel? Yo, you from Israel?
Yeah, my man.
Hey, do me a favor.
Yeah.
Free Palestine!
No, thank you. No, thank you.
Thank you, man.
What do you mean, no, thank you?
Again,
I just say, when he rages, that is absolutely frightening. I mean, it looks like almost medical when he goes into that rage. Like, what is that?
now, this is not like unique to when he talks about Free Palestine or anything. This is the kind of, unfortunately, the kind of streamers that many people are, sort of like exaggerating emotions, making things like crazy for a live stream. But again, try to like take this to any other thing, right? You see certain kind of people. And again, what does Free Palestine mean? It is calling for the destruction of the state of Israel, right? And imagine seeing a kind of people and yelling something that is calling for the destruction. I mean, like, try to make that connection. Imagine if this was anything else. Imagine if, this person saw like a Asian or a black person or anything and started yelling slurs or starting calling for their killing. This is the exact kind of thing. The idea of you see a certain kind of people and tribalism immediately connects you to like yelling this. And he knows what he's doing, right? He knows why even the sort of the Israeli kids or even the grown-ups, I think one looks sort of like an IDF soldier. He understands why they would respond negatively, right? Because they've actually experienced October 7, right? Or not directly, but maybe know somebody who was there or have experienced some kind of Palestinian violence, have experienced Iranian rockets coming in, missiles and destroying parts of it, the Houthi rockets coming in or the Hamas rockets, right? And they see this guy, this American who starts yelling to them to basically have them wiped out. I mean, like you said, this is actually mental. If you understand the full context of this is insane. And no punishment comes out of this, right?
And I honestly don't know if he could make an argument beyond just saying Free Palestine. It seems to be kind of what you know what I'm going to say, don't you? Yes, Free Palestine. And like, Daniel, how many for months we featured those on-campus chants and rallies where all those kids would go to and they'd be saying Free Palestine, but they didn't know which river or which sea and couldn't find Israel on a map and couldn't find Europe on a map. And they're just unbelievably ignorant about the entire situation. And I think that's kind of de rigueur now with young people. Is like they really don't know the history. They don't know, why there's fighting. All they know is that Israel is wrong. Israel is imperialist. It's rich. It's wealthy. It's exploitive. It is committing genocide, and those poor Palestinians have been subject to so much Israeli, bloodshed throughout the years. This is what they're taught in school. We know that, and this is what's being influenced by the hottest young influencers out there. Whether is what iShowSpeed, is his shtick any different than Candace's when it comes to the Jews in Israel?
Well, I think Chandler puts it well. He thinks he's just putting on a show for his viewers, but he's playing with fire. Because on some level, yeah, this is a show, right? He knows that, if I yell Free Palestine at Israeli kids, there will be a certain kind of reaction. And this is sort of what he's going for. But I think something that needs to fundamentally happen is there are no more adults in the room, right? The intellectual class in America has given up. Nobody listens to them, and honestly, they shouldn't be listened to, right? There is no good ideas coming from the current intellectual class. Just look at the universities, just look at your politicians, right? There's very few that are worth sort of like getting things from. The companies are also not willing to actually do something about it, right? Like, I think it's appropriate for companies to enforce some kind of civility, some kind of basically certain things are not allowed. If you are calling for a destruction of a free state, and it doesn't necessarily have to be Israel, right? It could be, I mean, there is, we'll go listen a little bit from Hassan Piker. Hassan Piker is somebody who said America deserved 9/11, right? And he is still allowed on one of the biggest streaming platforms. I mean, at some point you have to say, okay, you cannot just say, or the companies should say, again, not calling for government censorship, but companies should have, I think, certain standards when it comes to what kind of culture we want. And it really needs to be enforced. But at the end of the day, it's on the people, right? It's the fact that people are themselves are not pressuring these companies to enforce a certain kind of culture that we want.
Well, and that the people find this material interesting, that they want to consume it, they want to share it. I mean, I remember growing up, and we've talked a bit about this, like, anti-Semites were out there, but as I recall, in the 80s and 90s, it was very hush-hush. It was quiet. It was something that in when Holocaust denial or something like that was in the public, these people were importantly ostracized. The school that I went to, Northwestern University, had an anti-Semitic Holocaust denying professor who was boycotted and ostracized, etc. Now the culture welcomes it. It welcomes it as being, rebellious, or being, really moral or virtuous. It's the old fogies that are believe in Americanism, believe in Western superiority, believe in reason. That's old school. Nowadays, it's just yelling and free Palestine. Get your keffiyeh for your selfie and post away.
Yeah, and to get to the main part of the show of why I think he is a useful idiot, we have one more video I want to watch. But before that, I want to go to this article. It's from a news site called Al Bavada. They talked about how I think there was one Mr. Beast. For people definitely know Mr. Beast. He's this like I think right now his biggest thing is like this big philanthropist who does YouTube videos, and he had one sort of like competition, and iShowSpeed won it, and he won like 100K, and he decided to donate 50K to some Palestine's children's relief fund. And Al Bavada commented on this, and they said, iShowSpeed is no stranger to supporting Palestine, as he's always been vocal about it through a series of clips from his official Twitch and YouTube. These clips included Speed saying things like "Free Palestine" towards Israeli settlers in occupied Palestinian territories. Now, people have seen a couple of clips of this guy. Does this guy look like the kind of person who knows the difference between the so-called Israeli settlers in Judea and Samaria and Israeli citizens? No, of course not. He didn't yell at the so-called settlers, which even that would be problematic. He was yelling at Jewish people. He was yelling at Israelis. This was the people who were yelling at. Now, this new site might be a bit more crazy, so they might consider all Israeli citizens as settlers, meaning they are calling for the destruction of State of Israel. So this is the kind of people who are using him, right? People who want to destroy Israel and who want to get rid of the Jews in Middle East are using this guy for their support. Even if he is completely ignorant, this is the kind of thing he's helping. And the fact that he has no desire to introspect, no desire to think about it is very scary about the current culture of the influencers.
And no desire to be educated. It used to be that, you did a little studying and you read and you made notes before you opened up your mouth. But, for younger people today, that doesn't seem to be a prerequisite. Even espousing falsehoods or doesn't seem to be a problem. Hey, if it's false, I'll just apologize later on. We'll move on. So it's just like there's a carelessness with words and an emphasis on emotion with this generation and young people like that. It's so incredibly infuriating how Israel has been portrayed as the bad actor in the entire region, which it doesn't take too much education. You don't have to have a Middle Eastern studies, doctorate to understand even right now that Israel is the beacon of rights, of individualism, of freedom, of capitalism, of the freedom to speak, freedom to trade in the entire Middle East. So, for iShowSpeed to target Israel and relish with that demonist voice of his about how he's bombing Israel it's not just stupid, it's straight up ignorant.
And somebody says Hassan Piker should run for Congress, which I think he would actually do less damage to the American society if he was in the legislative than what he's doing right now. So we have one more clip, so let's listen to that.
Oh my God. Listen, I DM'd you the other day to tell you how much I appreciate you. You are fantastic. I think you're doing a phenomenal job. I love your evolution. Obviously, Free Palestine all the way.
Yes, sir.
The last time I think you were worried about donating to my charity that I was putting together for Syria and Turkey.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. Growing up a lot in the last couple of years. I'm a big fan. Turkish doner is obviously the best doner.
Uh-huh. Hell yeah.
You know that?
So for those who don't know Hassan Piker, we did a show on him so people can look that up. But again, he's somebody who said America deserved 9/11, who still denies that rape happened on October 7. And when I think Kamala Harris mentioned it, he was laughing at it. Is somebody who had a Houthi pirate on his live stream and he was just having fun with him. I mean, I could go on a whole list of the kind of thing. And again, what does he think of iShowSpeed? Oh, you're doing a great job. This is the guy who is, Jonathan, maybe you're not fully on the sort of what's happening on Twitch, but Twitch is this live streaming platform, and he has a pretty much monopoly when it comes to, almost a monopoly, when it comes to debating or talking about politics. So everybody who's on Twitch and cares about politics, they're getting their view from him. From somebody who is actively, I think he also called America a terrorist organization. So he's actively supporting Hamas. Not even the kind of thing where it's no, I don't like Hamas, I just support the Palestinian people. No. He's straight up actively supporting Hamas.
The irony is that, all of these young people with, their obvious desire to be unique, to be special, to stand out, to be important, to have something to say, they all are parroting the same old Marxism from the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s and on, and when you think about how radical Rand is and, listen to Piker and the rest of these, she's even more radical now. And this is decades and decades on, even more radical, and yet fewer young people espousing her beliefs and espousing her perspective. So we have a lot of work to do. It's earlier than we think, given the influence of complete idiots and useful idiots for Hamas like iShowSpeed.
Somebody earlier said that Hassan is educated, which I don't know how to even like answer that, because it's like if he is, that is actually putting against him, because it means he understands what's going on and he's actively choosing to be evil, which I think might actually be the case with Hassan Piker. So again, sort of like going back to the full topic, iShowSpeed, even if he is simply ignorant and is sort of just playing the crowd, what he is doing is actively doing damage to Israel, is actively basically creating a generation of kids who are having this hatred of Israel. And again, if you have a specific kind of hatred towards the one Israeli state, towards the one state where Jews can be safe, you are giving more to anti-Semitism. You are giving more towards the hatred of Israelis. If you want another gem from Hassan Piker, he actually called for killing of children in Judea and Samaria. He said that settler babies are also settlers. So again, this is the kind of people who are using him. So if he has any amount of, wanting to make sure he's not doing evil things, he should really think about what he's trying to do. Again, he is successful, he is popular, but at some point, when you are contributing to evil so much, you cannot claim ignorance. You cannot say, well, I was just, I was just making a goof. I was just being funny. No, you are actively supporting the rise of anti-Semitism. You are actively supporting terrorist organizations that want to destroy not only Israel, they are coming for America next. Jonathan, yeah.
Yeah, well, and in the final moments, I want to just thank not only our super chat, but also the people who are YouTube members, like Bonnie Bertrand and Matthew Napier, Enric. I know I saw El Rito. It's not much. It's, I think, maybe £5 a month. And you keep us on the air 7 days a week. We're bringing you programming that's inspired by objectivism, inspired by Ayn Rand's philosophy. We're all students of philosophy. And, I've been studying over 25 years. Daniel is younger, but he's an incredible student as well. So, help us apply Miss Rand's philosophy to the topics of the day, in particular of in concerning Israel and the Middle East these days. So thank you, especially to Bonnie for the super chat, and to all of you for making us part of your day.
And as Susie reminds me in the chat, he is also Cheng Yuger's nephew. Now, I don't think sort of the family sins carry over. And also, I think Cheng Yuger is actually the better part of this family. I think Hassan Piker is truly evil, that even Cheng Yuger sort of fades in comparison. So just to give you some kind of better context for this. With that, thank you, Jonathan, for joining me today. Thank you, everybody, for watching, and we'll be back tomorrow with another episode of The Daily Objective and The Reality Show. Until then, bye-bye.